Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And take a seat people, because it's gorgeous out there, you know what I'm saying. Not only did we pocket another 3 points, secured another clean sheet, we welcomed Todd Cantwell to the first team, and after 62 minutes, I'm happy. It was a very positive debut for Cantwell as he was directly involved in opening the door for the second goal in this game. But we didn't stop there. Nah. People, there was more. We had Tillman running the show and destroying the narrative that man is lazy. Trust me, we'll get to that in a minute or two. We had the returning Hadji, of course, and still to this exact moment in time, Ben Davies still hasn't said a single word. People out there, it is absolutely beautiful, especially after that really good win. You know what I mean? It's a good win. Now, for those who get that reference, you're probably going to enjoy it and you've sniggered a little bit. For those who don't, you're probably staring at your screen and now wondering if CJ's finally lost his single strand of sanity that was kicking around in the Grey Napper. Honestly, it's probably even money on either side, people. But I want to talk about this game. I want to talk about the players. And again, I've got to start with a Malik Tillman. I know I've already mentioned him in the actual intro, but how can I know sit and watch that game of football and not start it off by shouting out Tillman? I always start with who was the best player in the game. Who was the best player for me? It was Malik Tillman. I know Tavernier won a man of the match, but for me, the clear man of the match was actually this 20-year-old kid. And again, I know so many didn't like him. I see it in the comment section consistently. I see it on Twitter whenever I tweet out about a laddie. But I feel like we've now got to the stage. He's backed it up enough and he's continually growing and getting better as a player that you can just hold your hands up and say, I was wrong. People, look, I'm wrong all the time, people. I mean, speaking of Goodwin, earlier, I thought Jim Goodwin would do well at Aberdeen. That boy was sacked when he was halfway through a daily Lunchable after the game. He didn't even slap the cheese and the ham on the bonnet. People, he never had time. He was given his books. I'm wrong all the time. So let's just get collectively together and say, right, well, we're wrong about Tillman. The boy's a player. He's got the red, white, blue eagle in the old chest. Let's move on for it because he just done everything, people, because he didn't create one chance in the game. He didn't create two chances in the game, not three, not four. He created 5 major key chances in the game. And honestly, without any of my jokes or my exaggerations or anything like, I like to have fun in the videos, he really should have had 4 assists today, people. 4 assists in the game. That's how many clear-cut chances this lad made. And again, he is just 20-year-old. So, I needed to shout him out, people, and probably give you a wee warning. You know what I mean? Like, say you get like a spoiler warning or a trigger warning or anything like that. Well, this is a Tillman warning, because if you do not like this laddie, you're not going to like today's video, because when we get to the game recap, every little thing we done positive in this game starts or involves the right foot of Malik Tillman. So special shout out to the guy, and that gives us the perfect pathway in to the actual game recap, because to me, I thought we actually started off very well. If you compare how we played to St Johnstone last week, how slow we kind of were in the opening 15 minutes and everything, it's drastically different. This was much better from Rangers. We were hunting in packs and we had some quality and all that as well. I mean, apologies for not doing a preview video yesterday. I never felt like there was enough there to actually justify me sitting down and taking up some of your time on a Friday night. I did genuinely think about that stuff, and I didn't like to take your time for granted, because we had just played them a couple days ago. I wasn't wanting to sit here and repeat the exact same stuff, but it was a completely different way we approached this game than we did last one, and that again was down to hunger and just the way we had quality on the ball. And Cantwell plays his part in that as well. Again, I'm not sitting here saying it was a 10 out of 10 and he showed you absolutely everything he is capable of, but considering the guy's not kicked the ball since November and he's been again pushed to the side by the Norwich boss and everything like that, to come in and put that level of performance in and level of effort showed it's again a positive sign. And him, for me, Cantwell, tune in Craig, he is Cantwell, I meant Tillman. Thanks Craig. Oh, it's hard, people. How many videos have I made? I don't know how much I've got left, people, you know what I mean? But Cantwell, Tillman and Kent, I was trying to say, for me, is a wonderful trinity, people, and it was actually really exciting to actually watch. And I don't know if you felt the same. You can let me know in the comment section below, but I watched them and I went, this is going to be really fun when they get up to speed, the way they were just interchanged. Because what position did Kent play this afternoon? Genuinely, what position did Tillman play this afternoon? What position did Cantwell play? You can't narrow it down. So if we can't as fans, because they were constantly interchanging and swapping and being intelligent and allowed to be creative as they were able to be, can you imagine being an opposition player trying to match up who you're going to mark? Or they just didn't have a position, and you can really see what Beale's trying to imprint and try and build in this Rangers team. And again, it is an attack-minded creative force, and I can't wait to see what he's got with a couple more weeks, couple months, and again maybe even a couple more players added to the mixer. So I wanted to give them a shout out, because the opening 5-10 minutes we were just blowing them all out of the park, man. It was just frightening the way we were playing, with chance after chance after chance. Unfortunately, the majority of them did fall to Alfredo Morelos, including the first one where we played it down the actual side. He gets in behind the defence. He's actually got a lot of time after Tillman. Just the way he just opens the body up, plays him in behind. It's a wonderful through ball. But again, too much time for Morelos usually means it's a miss for Morelos. He's like Kenny Miller, people, you know what I mean, in terms of instinctive finishing. Not as a player, I'm trying to say as an instinctive finisher, you know what I mean? When Kenny had a half volley to go for, or just to reactive, he would always put it away. If he was running through on goal, he'd miss it, and that's Alfredo Morelos, and it's always been Morelos. So, that was a major opportunity. And three of them were at it again just several minutes later. People just being involved, especially Tillman winning the ball back, tracking back. Remember, he's supposed to be lazy. People, I don't know what these people are watching. He's about the third most in interceptions. He's high in the tackles, his intensity, how much he runs per game. It's all up there. So I don't know what people are actually watching when they call this kid lazy. It doesn't make any sense. Every metric you look at, he's up there in terms of either the top or second or third. People, so I just don't get what people actually are wanting or watching for this laddie. But again, wins the ball back, does some nice defensive stuff we're probably going to skip over because we don't have a lot of time to get involved in. But the sexy stuff, people, when he gets forward with the ball, him and Kent just works so well right here, people. There's a brilliant run for Ryan Kent, a wee step over, a shimmy, running in, plays Alfredo Morelos again in behind the defence. This one for me actually hits it a lot better, but it's actually a very good save for the goalkeeper that forces a corner in the 12th minute, people, and it became not a matter of if we were going to score an early goal in the game. It was when, and it was actually from that gorgeous bit of play. We play it short, we try and whip it in, it comes back out to Tavernier. Tavernier then whips it back in, trying to aim for his favourite target inside the box. Big corner, Goldson, the man himself. But he doesn't get involved in it. But what does, people, is the right hand, I believe, or is it the left hand? I don't know, people, let's be honest. You can who you're talking to. I believe it's a handball anyway for this Johnstone player with a wonderful save out from his body, not in his face. Conspiracy theorists are crying right now. So penalty kick to Rangers, and up steps Tavernier with a wonderful penalty up to the top goalkeeper side on the right. It's a wonderful delivery, by the way, just absolutely nails it. Breadbasket, goalies nowhere near it despite diving the right way. That's when you know it's a good pen. It's always annoys me when commentators, like, maybe when they send the keeper the wrong way and it's like halfway in the middle, I'm like, oh, that's a great pen. No, if the goalkeeper dives the right way, he's actually saving it. But the goalie does dive, he actually dives pretty early, but it's hit and struck so well, the goalie's got absolutely no chance. So technically, if you want to get technical, Tavernier assisted himself for a penalty. That might just be the Moon Howler's complete big whopper. Speaking a big whopper, Cantwell showed he's got a wee bit more industry side of the game that a lot of people online and social media was actually predicting. Even though we sat and talked about this right here on the channel, he has good work rate, isn't he? I know you might look at him, you see the big long blonde hair and you think he's one of the Hollywood blondes for the early 90s and everything like that, but this kid is actually a hard worker, and he does a brilliant slide after Barisic and Kamara have a slight miscommunication that could have sprung a counter-attack, but Cantwell gets back, nails in with a good challenge, and we eventually get it clear from, guess who? Tillman. But moving on from there, let's get to the next big major opportunity. And Kamara, after having that slight mistake, ended up performing with a wonderful through ball. This kid was out here looking like St. Johnstone. Kamara, you know what I mean? There is nothing, and I mean nothing more prolific than Kamara versus St. Johnstone. I mean, his last game for Dundee, St. Johnstone. His first game for Rangers, St. Johnstone. Who he scored the most goals against in Scotland, St. Johnstone. That boy just wakes up hating St. Johnstone. And he had a goal in the game, but he should have had an assist as well. It's a wonderful through ball, splitting the defence, and to be fair, I'll give credit to Morelos here. The movement is absolutely unbelievable. The way he jukes back, gets onside, runs through, goalie's coming out, Cantwell's like, please give me the ball, it's my debut, let's score easy goals, Rangers. But of course, we didn't do that. And circling back to something we mentioned earlier, when Morelos has got time in front of goal, it never goes well as he just hits it straight at the goalkeeper. He probably could have went round the goalie, could have tapped it to Cantwell to tap it into the back of the net, or maybe even dinked it, but it's just a Morelos hit straight at the goalkeeper and everything like that. So that was another major opportunity, and you're sitting back after 20 minutes in this game saying, we really should be 3-0 up right now. But you know, it's never that case when you're watching us. Now the next 15 minutes he plays really hard to actually break down, especially with this type of structure of the video, because you didn't want to sit here for 25-30 minutes every single week or anything like that. So it is hard to break down, but I really need to mention just some of the play for Cantwell, Tillman and Kent. Again, man, they all nice little passes, nice little triangles. It goes out to the right hand side to Tillman from Ryan Jack with his left foot. Aye, that's how well we're playing. Jacko is bringing the lefty out. I thought he only stood on that bad boy, but it's a beautiful through ball after some good, again, sharp passing from the front three behind Morelos. It goes out to our boy Tillman, and Tillman, man, just drills it in. Cantwell then just does a step over dummy, and it plays in Kent, who hits a first time shot that's again very well saved by the goalkeeper, and they were just at it again. They were relentless. A wonderful ball from Ben, never spoke a word in his life. Davies goes, hits out. Tillman somehow, and I mean somehow, brings the ball down on a sixpence whilst passing it to Morelos, who again has Cantwell screaming for the actual pass, but Morelos ends up dallying and scuffing his shot when he really probably should have pung it when he had the chance after Tillman had played him in again on the goalkeeper. Oh, just passed it for Cantwell to tap it into the back of the net. It's simple things, people, but aye, can you imagine living in a universe where Rangers Football Club actually just make that pass, tap it into the net and score 7 every game? By God, wouldn't it be glorious? Because we really have the opportunities. If you think of it, if you look at nearly every single game, the pass is there. We have so many men going forward. We just didn't take it, and that's when I truly believe we're just trying to add to the grey hairs, people. But it's a wonderful 35 minutes in the game, several opportunities, and if you were bored and you started to think, well, I've not heard enough of Tillman's name, he's heavily involved again as he runs down the right hand side. Wonderful bitty defending, drags the ball forward, puts it in the mixer where again it nearly falls to the feet of Morelos. It really was a breathless 35-36 minutes of the game, and then one of the major flashpoints in the games happen as St Johnstone tried to hit a bit of a counter-attack. The ball's coming in the middle of the park now. As far as I know, or I remember, or I saw with these baby blue eyes, yeah, you're welcome for that one. Did I make me laugh, people? Clark comes in, just nails Jacko. I think he goes over the ball. Now, I don't think the referee actually sends him off, unless I'm wrong about this. You can tell me right away. I think he originally is going to give him a booking, and then VAR tells him that it's a red card. Somebody can let me know in the comment section below, people. But I eventually get sent off. It's a shocker of a challenge, and you're thinking to yourself, I hope Jacko is alright. And if he is alright, if I was a St Johnstone player, knowing Jacko the way we know Jacko, they better watch themselves, because if there's ever an old school footballer who says tit for tat, it's our boy Jacko. They're a dying breed in football these days, people. But aye, Jacko sent his regards within 60 seconds after plopping up for the deck. He was like the Terminator. He was just like scanning. Who can I pull the scants down? Him right there. Bang! People, it's clearly a yellow card. Jacko does get his revenge. Jacko does send his regards. The kerfuffle after it is just acting in handbags. This is Johnson clearly wanting them to even it up, and I thought Colum was a little bit, I think he wanted to even it up after that, but again he gets told to go and look at it in VAR. And this one, people say, oh, so you're saying this, the Johnson one's a red, but you're such a... No, I just tell you, if I feel like something's done wrong, and again I always tell you the truth, people. Just because I disagree with your point of view on a certain thing doesn't mean I'm being biased. I genuinely think Jacko shouldn't have received a red card, and I actually feel like Colum's got it right, because the foot is low and on the ground. If it's even an inch higher and he studs her up, the boy is sent off every day of the week. But I believe that's the reason Colin made the decision he did, because his fit's doing, it's trailing across the ground when he does. Sends his regards. So aye, bit of a handbags and rolling about and everything for St Johnstone, wanting it evened up, but it of course wasn't, as the referee, for me, got it right on those two occasions. He didn't get much right today, but I think he got those two key points, if you want, actually right. Now, what else is there to talk about? Oh, there was like 27 minutes added on in the first half, where not much really happened, if I'm honest with you. Wait a minute, CJ, you're talking a lot of nonsense. Something big did actually happen. Now, before we talk about it, you're probably sitting there wondering, CJ, do you always interrupt yourself by saying CJ? Sometimes, people, it's a complicated process doing all this. But I nearly forgot. St Johnstone had a moment. They had a moment where it should have been 1-1, despite all the excitement, despite all the praise that I've sat here and said so far in the video. When that half-time whistle went, it should have been 1-1, despite against 10 men. And this is the problems we need to fix. This is the mistakes that we really need to cut out, because it's pretty much the last minute of injury time. Again, there was 75 minutes added on at the end of the first half. And Dre Wright just runs for the midfield. He doesn't get tracked. Kamara loses him. He runs in behind the two defenders. The ball comes in. One pass beats absolutely everyone. It's 1v1 versus Alan McGregor, and it ends up being 1 versus none as he skips by McGregor. And just as he's about to pull the trigger, the same mystical force, very same air that allows Mary Poppins to somehow float about with an umbrella that makes no logistical sense at all, people, that controlled the ball when Jelavic hit it off the post, and instead of going that way, it somehow rolled that way, actually came back into play as Dre Wright somehow just falls on his dish, people. That's right, the same forces were all in play as it blew Dre Wright, and thank God, people, because we needed it. Like, that would have been an absolute sickener, and St Johnstone would have came out that second half with something to actually hold on, and would have probably made a lot of defensive substitutions at half time. I can't explain to you what actually happened, how he never put it into the net, besides what I've actually just said to you, because that makes about as much sense as what actually happened in reality, of course, unless Drew is one of us. Then, if so, hide your homework. At half-time, Ryan Jack's obviously withdrawn early because, again, he's on his yellow card, and I feel like if he made even a sneeze near a St Johnstone player, they were going to go down, and Jacko was going to receive that second yellow card. So, smart man management, I would say, for Michael Beale, and of course it's the Royal Rumble later, so you need to keep Jacko for that in case he is a surprise entrant. So, Lunny comes on. And the second half was just about as dominating as you can probably expect from Rangers, especially the opening 5 minutes, because anyone worrying, oh, we've started well in the first half, does that mean we've start poorly in the second half? No, people, the chances we created. Kent does brilliant work down the left-hand side, pulls it back for Cantwell, who's made a run into the box late. It's just slightly behind him. He can't sort his feet, ends up hitting it over the bar, but we were relentless. We win the ball back again. Lundstrom does very well to win the ball back. We're keeping them pinned in, and then just honestly, Alfredo Morelos, see, this is what Morelos does better than anyone. The way he's able to wrestle a defender, throw them away, just throw them away like one of your bags for life that you pretend you're always gonna keep, people. He just throws them away, passes it to Tillman, who's just got the vision, not even lift the head. He knows Kent's going to come, so he just curls the ball in behind the defender for his fourth 1v1 chance creation in the game. But unfortunately, as you could probably tell by the scoreline, if you watch the game, we didn't take it. But to be fair, I'm not going to be overly critical here, because Kent does the right thing. He lifts it over to the left. It's just an incredible save. Sometimes you need to hold your hand up and say, fair enough. That is one of those occasions the St Johnstone goalie pulled off an absolute worldie. But now, after another good save, an already scare at the end of the first half, you start to wonder, we've seen this story before, when we can't finish our dinner, when we didn't take our chances. Is it going to be one of these days? Well, our new boy got in the ball, combined very well with Kent, and then fired a direct defence splitting past Alfredo Morelos, who does brilliantly with a kind of back heel pass in to the on-rushing Glenn Kamara. And Glenn Kamara was Glenn Kamara when he's always against St Johnstone. Clinical and ice cold as he just lifts it up over the goalkeeper and plants it into the back of net like he's banging 15, 20 goals every single season. We need to look into it. Because him versus St Johnstone, you can make a goal compilation with his goals versus St Johnstone, put it online, and you'd have people finding it online for down south saying, that looks like a goal scoring midfielder. It's unbelievable, people. He doesn't shoot often, but when he does, it's saucy. And Saucy Glenn makes it 2-0, but special shout out to Cantwell and Alfredo Morelos for their part in that actual goal as well. And aye, as you probably can tell, I've been quite full of praise so far in today's video and very encouraging, but I feel like after we made it 2-0, we started to take the foot off the gas a little bit. We still had chances. We brought in Hadji, which was great to see. We brought in Cholak, we brought in Scott Wright, we brought on Fashion Sakala. We brought on players and we did create chances. Sakala had a couple that he really should have done better. Hadji started off a little bit rusty, but found his way into a game. Beautiful blind pass from a corner to set Sakala up, whose deflected effort ends up just getting somehow fingertip saved. There was chances, so I'm no being ungrateful or being moany or anything like that. I just felt the last 25 minutes of that game, we really could have made this 5, 6, 7 people if we wanted to. We just never quite had that angry bite between our teeth. But I guess if we're looking at the game fairly, if Morelos takes 1 or even 2 of his 4 golden opportunities and 3 1v1s that he actually had in the game, we're all sitting here with our 4 or 5 nothing job. So we created the chances, but I just thought the last 20 minutes wasn't quite up to the standard we've started to see under Michael Beale, where we just started to falter just a little bit, people. But aye, that's all I'm going to say, because I know the video's extremely long. Again, I'm seeing positives, seeing a couple negatives, but again, they're starting to get ironed out. We used to see that all the time, these mistakes. They're still happening 1 or twice a game, which is probably 1 or 2 times too many, but again, compared to when it was 5, 6, 7, 8 a couple months ago, we're moving in the right direction. But aye, can we just please be more clinical? Maybe have a chance or 2 faulty. Somebody that isn't Alfredo Morelos, just for his grey hairs. That would be very, very nice, people. But aye, that's all I'm going to say in the game. Again, Tavernier won the official man of the match, but for me, it was Tillman. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. That would be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will be seeing you very, very soon, as I expect 1 or 2 things to happen before the window slams shut, and we're talking about Tynecastle. And that's it, people. Until then, I've been CJ Over 92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.